Hi everybody, today I'm going to share some of my hot takes about movies. Sorry if this video is a little bit visually uninteresting, I am running out of the energy to finish it. Hot take number 1. I have seen A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Alien, and yet the best space movie that I have ever seen is Dark Star, largely because of the ending. We're driving, and we're going to record this because it's the best opportunity that we have to do it. This is Dark Star. You've never seen it before.
No, I have not.
Okay.
This guy looks like a schmuck.
Sergeant Pinback calling bomb number 19. Do you read me, bomb?
Bomb number 19 to Sergeant Pinback. I read you. Continue.
Wait, hold on. This bomb has a conscience?
Yes, the bomb has a conscience, yes.
Oh god, okay. Oh god. What does it feel when it blows up? Of course, with every male in this genre, everybody has to have, of course, sexy pictures of women on the wall. Why?
C3PO's got that. Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
Hi, can I help you?
Hi, we're gonna do a 20-piece chicken McNugget. Oh, this song rips. Oh my god, I love this song. Our heart longs to be there. Does your precious Star Wars have a theme song this good?
I must disengage your recreational music.
Okay, but why'd you have to kill vibes?
Let them vibe when they go through the asteroid storm.
Let them vibe before they die.
Look at them, they're red!
Look at them.
Isn't this great? That's what I imagine my mouth looks like when I drink a Mexican Coke.
What the fuck?
Computer to bomb number 20. Return to the bomb bay immediately.
But I have received the operational signal.
I hate it when my two AIs fight against each other.
His name is Doolittle, after my favorite doctor.
Oh really? What has he done?
You know, the
Yes. What happened to the vibes?
They got the vibes on, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? A cigar and some supermarket music is, oh, hello.
Oh, that's a knife.
He's just like me.
It's so sad, they're just dangling. They're just dangling down. No. This man has an unhealthy affinity for sharp objects, I would just like to say.
Oh, that is so me when I ponder.
He's just isolated. I feel so bad for him.
No, he's pondering. You wouldn't get it.
But it is time for Sergeant Pinback to feed the alien.
They have an alien?
They have an alien.
They got a little alien?
You'll see.
Is he cute?
Oh, he's real cute, you'll see.
What the fuck? Oh! He's actually kind of cute though, you were not lying.
You know, you see what he is?
He's a beach ball.
He's a beach
He's
ball.
a beach ball with like flipper duck feet.
He's a beach ball with feet.
I love him.
Oh, you know who like performed the beach ball kind of, who puppeteered it?
Who?
Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers in Halloween.
You're joking.
No.
You're joking.
It's the same guy. So I told you about the ending. I didn't tell you what it was. I just told you that like your jaw's gonna hit the floor.
There is an ending.
Like you're gonna piss your pants.
I am.
Maybe, we'll see.
Oh shit. Okay.
I will say the pink vibe is something you don't see in a lot of space movies.
Yeah, no.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. His dumpy is too big to fit through the tiny little hole.
No.
Oh, the mom's gonna be so happy. He's finally gonna get dropped.
Oh yeah.
So happy. Look at that! That's a 6-layer muffin tin!
Isn't it so cute? Isn't it charming? Don't you love it?
It's so charming. And like the vacuum cord. So the camel farting noise means it didn't drop. So is it... It's still in the thing.
So yes, it's still in the Bombay.
So if you detonate in 9 seconds, you could be doing so on the basis of false data. I have no proof it was false data. You have no proof it was correct data. I must think on this further.
What? Literally what? What? I'm speechless.
I know!
I'm speechless.
I know, it's crazy. You okay?
Yeah? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Thank you for watching it with me. Thank you for doing this.
Ah!
I love you.
I love you too. Oh my god.
Hot take number 2. I have seen all of these movies exactly once, and not one of them cracks an 8 out of 10 for me. I think it's kind of important to kind of clarify the way that I choose to rate movies. Rating movies is something that I've been doing for a little while, and kind of early on in the days of me rating movies, I ran into something that I like to call the 7-star problem. In my public school, tests and assignments and things like that were graded out of 100%, and 65 was a passing grade, so anything below 65% was a failing grade. And I feel like that's something that kind of stuck with me a little bit too much when I decided to start rating movies that way. Because 65% is not a bad score, necessarily. But early on, I found myself giving movies that I thought were mostly competently well made at least a 7 out of 10. And a 6 out of 10 was like, this movie was bad. So I switched to a system where I start at a 5 out of 10, and the score that I give the movie either goes up or down from there. So for instance, Sin City is an 8 out of 10 for me, because it started as a 5, and I added a point each for acting, writing, and the visual style. On the other hand, The Butterfly Effect was a movie that I gave 3 stars to, because I started at a 5, and took a point off for it being kind of pretentious and kind of badly written. But this laundry list of movies, I don't think that that's a very fair system to apply to them. These are all movies that somebody has told me that I would think are incredible, or are going to change the way that I look at film, or are going to be among the best films that I have ever seen. So instead, I chose to start at a 10 with these movies, and see if it could keep the 10. None of them have. Maybe this will change on a rewatch, but I almost always took 2 points off for the movie being very long and too pretentious for my personal taste. But I do think that there are films that start with that kind of reputation that can maintain it. The 2 films that I have found that are exceptions to this are Pulp Fiction, because for one, Pulp Fiction is a great time. I really don't think it's too pretentious. It's a lot of fun. And although it's 2.5 hours, it really sincerely feels like it doesn't waste any of that time, unlike most of the other movies that I mentioned. And the other film is Boogie Nights. I did think that it wasted a little bit of time, but I thought that it was so much more fun than any of the rest of these movies. Maybe my opinion of these movies will change as I watch them again, but on a first watch, that's what I'm thinking. Hot take number 3. I don't like Richard Linklater. Richard Linklater's films seem to get pretty high praise, both from critics and audiences, but a meandering film that leans more on its characters than its plot is something that only works for me very occasionally. In the last video, I briefly talked about Dazed and Confused and why I didn't really like it, but I liked Slacker even less. If you haven't heard of Slacker, it's not a movie that I recommend at all. It's just multiple, vignettes and conversations between a lot of characters, many of which don't even have names. I get that there's some, social commentary that he's trying to provide here, but I do not think it makes for a very good movie. And so for that reason, I don't really like Richard Linklater that much. That being said, I've only seen those 2 movies. I'm willing to give Boyhood a fair shake. I hear that that's a very solid one. And if anything else that he has happens to catch my attention, I'll definitely give it its fair shake as well. But that's how I felt about those 2 movies. Hot take number 4. Tubi is my favorite streaming service. Okay, I don't really know why. I can't really explain it. It's just, for a free streaming service, I am, really impressed with Tubi's catalog. I feel like if there's an obscure film, even if it's really good, I can typically find it on Tubi. It's also a great streaming service to use if you're a horror fan. There's a lot of great horror stuff on Tubi. And I've genuinely been surprised by some of the HBO Max level stuff that they have on here from time to time. It's not a lot of it, but it definitely seems like they're able to get some really solid movies while they're kind of in between streaming services for a little while. I don't know, Tubi is just the streaming service that I find myself coming back to most often. Unlike Netflix, I haven't used Netflix in months. Hot take number 5, Back to the Future Part 2 is better than Back to the Future. Have I written out any coherent argument for why I think this is? No. Have I seen these movies in a little while? Also no. But from what I remember, Back to the Future Part 2 was a way better movie than Back to the Future Part 1. I have seen both of these movies multiple times. I have probably seen the original Back to the Future more than any other movie in my life. And the original Back to the Future is a movie that deals more with kind of this generational divide and toys with the idea of what if a kid from the 80s spent a week in the 50s? And it's a great film. I would say a perfect film, but it's been years since I've watched it. I'm definitely going to have to watch it again before I give it that rating. But if there's one thing that movie maybe underutilizes, it's the time travel. It's really only a plot device. It's just kind of a means to tell the story, but it's just too interesting for its own good because it raises a lot of questions in the audience about the time travel and how it works. When you're watching the first Back to the Future, you want to know more about the time travel, and you just don't really get it in this movie. A problem which Back to the Future Part 2 rectifies. This is the kind of time travel movie that I want to see, where they jump around and run into past versions of themselves and go to the future. Again, it's been years. I probably have a lot of nostalgia attached to this take. I'm definitely going to have to rewatch these. I think I'll probably do a Back to the Future video at some point on this channel, but until then, my take is standing. Back to the Future 2 is better than Back to the Future 1. Final hot take, Vertigo is like my least favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie. I love Alfred Hitchcock. I adore Alfred Hitchcock. I think he's incredible. But I did not think that Vertigo was really up to par with a lot of his stuff, which, considering that it has, I think, a perfect Metascore, I'll have to check on that. The first time I watched it, made me feel like I was going a little bit crazy. I love the simplicity that Alfred Hitchcock has in so many of his stories. But this story about a man who falls in love with a woman who dies, and then he tries to transform another woman into her. It just feels like a weird, complex thing for Alfred Hitchcock to do. This was really not a movie that I felt like I understood. It felt like it was definitely a slow burn, which some of Hitchcock's other movies can be slow burns, but I feel like this was a slow burn that suffered from a lot of the issues that plague worse slow burns. It's definitely a bit of a departure in style for him, and it feels a little more emotional than the usual kind of matter-of-fact film that he likes to do. And I really don't think there's any denying that when you compare this to a movie like Psycho or Rope or Dial M for Murder or Rear Window, that it's a very different film. And just personally, it didn't feel like a film that I connected with as much as I did the rest of those. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any scalding takes like the ones that I just shared. And I hope this video is not the reason why you unsubscribe.